NBA insider Shams Charania has revealed why the New York Knicks traded for Karl-Anthony Towns and why Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo were in the package, while the Knicks initially tried to add Mitchell Robinson to it in hopes of keeping Nova Nick Donte DiVincenzo on the team. And we're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here. We're going to jump right into the video today. It's been a while since we've done ads, and it's because I love talking basketball with you guys. Guys, Donte DiVincenzo obviously was part of that New York Knicks, Minnesota Timberwolves, Julius Randle, Karl-Anthony Towns blockbuster trade. And it's weird because obviously Julius Randle's the better player, but it feels like all of us collectively agreed that losing DiVincenzo almost hurt more because of the type of player he was, how well he fit on this team, where Julius's fit was always going to be a question, though I thought he would have fit phenomenally personally. No one disagreed that Donte DiVincenzo was going to fit great, and I mean, come on, guys. This shirt went to waste, man. The New York Knicks traded away Donte DiVincenzo in a deal, and it initially appeared that DiVincenzo was mad that the team traded him away, or was mad with the Knicks situation, thus why the Knicks traded him away. But apparently that might not be the case, but there's a lot more to this deal than meets the eye. Now, as Shams said, this is something the Knicks were quietly working on for months. Draft night, they offered Randle and Mitchell Robinson, which was a hard no by the Timberwolves, and they continued to offer that with a hard no, and finally put DiVincenzo in, and there was still a no. But then the window opened, they put the first round draft pick in on Friday, and got this massive deal done. So here's the deal, guys. The New York Knicks wanted Karl-Anthony Towns real bad. Leon Rose believed very, very highly that Karl-Anthony Towns would be the difference maker for the New York Knicks, that the Knicks wanted to make this deal done. They wanted a team that had Towns and DiVincenzo on it, though the Minnesota Timberwolves seemingly had no interest in Mitchell Robinson. As the Knicks, let's defend the Timberwolves right here. The Knicks contacted them and said, all right, we'll give you Julius Randle, who doesn't fit as well next to Rudy Gobert as Karl-Anthony Towns does, and also we'll give you Mitchell Robinson, rim protector, who's essentially a worse version of Rudy Gobert if you want to really, really boil it down to a very basic comparison. And that's about it. Obviously, the Timberwolves said no. Yeah, of course they did. Why would they have said yes to that? Why would they trade a guy who was on their team for 9 seasons, one of their greatest players in franchise history, for Julius Randle, someone who I still think to this day is as good or better than Karl-Anthony Towns? He won't look like it with his fit on the Timberwolves because it's an atrocious fit. But also, they're going to trade Mitchell Robinson, someone who effectively does nothing for the Timberwolves, considering they have Naz Reid, the 6th man of the year, as their backup center. Guys, of course this deal didn't go through. Why would it have? The Knicks had to pull out all the stops so they wanted Karl-Anthony Towns bad enough, and Leon Rose wanted Karl-Anthony Towns bad enough. I mean, similar situation happened when the Knicks traded R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley and that pick for OG Anunoby. Fans were like, wait, why? Why OG? Leon Rose sees how well these guys are going to fit on a Tom Thibodeau-ran team with Jalen Brunson, and he believes it's the best chance for the Knicks to win. The Knicks have the biggest analytics department in all of the NBA, so apparently the numbers also said, hey, this is what is going to win us more games. This is what is going to take us deepest into the playoffs. This is what's going to give us our best shot at winning the NBA Finals. And that's why they wanted Towns over Julius Randle. They believed that Karl-Anthony Towns was going to fit better than Randle. They wanted to move on from Mitchell Robinson because Mitch was not in that inner circle of guys who Leon Rose selected. He's the one player on the roster who hasn't been brought to the team by Leon Rose. And now what we're seeing is Leon still trying to move Mitchell Robinson. I have a video on that coming out tomorrow. And on top of that, what we're seeing is the Knicks wanted Towns and believed that there was a massive difference between Karl-Anthony Towns on the Knicks and Julius Randle to the point where they were willing to trade Donte DiVincenzo. Now, as Ian Begley mentioned, when the Knicks and Timberwolves were discussing this, they periodically checked in with Minnesota on Karl-Anthony Towns dating back to at least last summer. I'm going to bet it was essentially since Leon Rose got here. But there never seemed to be much traction. As recently as last week, people with the Knicks told associates that they were prepared to start the season with Julius Randle and see how it went, and DiVincenzo was one of the sticking points. Minnesota really wanted Donte DiVincenzo next to Anthony Edwards, and New York was reluctant to move him. But with the start of training camp looming, the Knicks recently came off that stance. This pushed the deal forward and got it done across the finish line. DiVincenzo's on an awesome contract, just making $12 million a year while putting up very, very good numbers. Now, Devo put up 15.5 points per game with 4 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 40% from the field, 44% from the corner, great catch-and-shoot player. The man was just an awesome player, not to mention the great defense that he provided. Losing him sucks. He was a great fit. It's really rough, but clearly the New York Knicks believe that it's worth it. Leon Rose has failed to be wrong yet with these trades, and I'm going to continue to believe in him. It now sucks more realizing that DiVincenzo maybe wasn't as, gung-ho on getting out of this team as much as it initially seemed like, where he might have been not too thrilled with these bench minutes. And, look, the Knicks clearly thought that Karl-Anthony Towns was a massive difference maker for the team, and if they're willing to give up Donte DiVincenzo to get him, someone who Leon did bring in, it's very clear, similarly to when the Knicks gave up R.J. Barrett, someone the Knicks believed in, because Quickley was due for the extension anyway, same thing as Julius Randle, that they're like, okay, no, it might not look worth it on paper, but this is going to be worth it. It's going to change the team. The Knicks believe Landry Shamet can be a light version of Donte DiVincenzo. They better be right on that, or the scoring/shooting off the bench is going to be a severe problem. Now, Mikal will probably run a lot of minutes with the second unit and lead them, as he is the third option on the team. Third options do frequently go out there and do that. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Knicks go about this, with not having that scoring off the bench anymore, with losing Donte DiVincenzo, losing Quickley last year, not being able to find scoring off the bench ever since losing Quickley, and right when you think you have it, they move DiVincenzo. I'm really bummed they moved Donte. I'm still not sure if this is the right move, especially knowing that DiVincenzo wanted to be in New York still, or at least that's what happened according to Stephen Bondy. Now, Bondy mentioned a league source refuted reports that DiVincenzo was unhappy with the idea of coming off the bench next season and wanted to leave the Knicks. Sources said he was pumped about next season playing with the Nova Knicks. If Leon Rose is willing to break up the Nova Knicks, then clearly, again, it just goes back to, okay, they think Karl-Anthony Towns is that difference maker. They think that Deuce McBride, that Landry Shamet, that all the guys they've brought in can absolutely replace what Donte did. Now, I don't trust that exactly, and I do believe it's why the Knicks are looking at going for a wing or going for a forward instead of a center when they try to trade Mitchell Robinson, or I shouldn't say when they try to trade Mitchell Robinson, when they're trying to trade Mitchell Robinson right now. That doesn't necessarily mean Mitch is on the trade block. It just means they're more open to trading Mitch than they ever have been in the past, because clearly they want another shooter. Now, the Knicks have a ton of shooting on the team. Towns is a 40% shooter. Brunson's a 40% shooter. Guys like Deuce McBride, he's a 40% shooter. There's a few guys like Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, both of whom high 30s, can have 40%, especially with the most spacing either of them have ever played on with a team. The Knicks are going to be able to run a lethal pick and roll with Jalen Brunson, with Towns, when playing with Towns at the center position. You're not going to be able to double anyone, because when you have McBride, when you have Mikal, when you have OG out there, not only do those three make up for the lack of defense that Towns brings to the table, they also all cannot be left open for catch and shoots. They're just going to make the shots. I think the Knicks also, trading DiVincenzo, being fine with doing this massive trade to acquire a guy in Towns who isn't necessarily better than Randle, but to also trade DiVincenzo, I think it's also a testament to how much they believe in Deuce McBride. They think Deuce is going to take another jump as playing a primarily shooting guard position this season. I'm inclined to agree. I think Deuce, if Deuce is coming off the bench, and I have a very good reason to believe that Deuce McBride is going to be starting as the shooting guard throughout the season, and we're going to discuss that on another video and mainly on the live stream, and I'm going to talk about that in a second also. But with the New York Knicks, there's a world where they start Deuce, want that absolute 3-and-D all throughout the lineup right next to Brunson and Towns, then having Hart off the bench, subbing Mikal out kind of early, bringing him back in kind of early, having him run it with the bench unit so the Knicks have some scoring over there. it's going to be very interesting to see how the Knicks work it out. This is a much different team than they had last season and a completely different team than they had 2 years ago when they made the Eastern Conference semifinals. We're going to see what the Knicks can do now. They've made a lot of trades. They've made a lot of changes to this roster in efforts to go to the NBA Finals and win that. The one consistency here, really the two consistencies here, Jalen Brunson and Mitchell Robinson. And Mitch might be on the way out, guys. So make sure you're subscribed to Knicks Digest because we'll be reporting on it instantly when it happens. Like this video, subscribe. Also, guys, remember, live stream, 6 p.m. We're going to run it back. Me and Matt will be back for another Knicks Digest happy hour Friday, 6 p.m. It is up already on the channel. You could tune in. You could turn on that notification for when it starts. It's going to be a great time. Last one, we had a ton of fun, a lot of great laughs, a lot of good basketball conversation. We're going to keep that up. We're going to have some rotating other guests come in at times. Guys, make sure you're subscribed. Have a great day, and go Knicks.